Got a special show today. We got Matt Welsh with us today of Age of Aquarius. We're going to talk everything about Bitcoin, the future of the potentially of the one world currency, Age of Aquarius. I'm going to ask him about Archaix. We're going to talk about his experience at the SF hackathon, and so stay tuned to the end. This is going to be a really interesting show, something you probably never even seen or even considered before. So Matt, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
Yeah, man, it was great to finally meet you in San Francisco. My first time there, your hometown, and we totally hit it off. We had a blast. It was a great time, history in the making, and I'm real excited to do this interview with you. I'm kind of like it's breaking the silence since I spoke at that event and shared some information. So who better to help break that news than you?
That's right. Thank you. Well, definitely an honor and privilege to have the opportunity to break the news. And, when we talked there, it was just cutting edge information, what you were sharing, stuff that just is, I never heard of before. And I think a lot of other people haven't, which is your knowledge of the spiritual side of things. And why don't you just share a little bit of a background on who you are? I mean, I learned some of the facts about you at the event, but please tell us your story.
Yeah, it's a wild ride. I'm definitely a self-made kind of guy. I guess that was my choice when I incarnated to just have not a silver spoon in my mouth, but I grew up in a small town in Columbus, New Jersey. Small high school, everything. It was just I really had to stretch myself to expand my mind, my perception of reality, who I was. And it was always a struggle to like be love and be myself. So that eventually became my band name. So, fast forward to today, I'm 33 years old. I'm in Orlando, Florida. I love it here. I'm a full-time musician. I original rock songs. And along the way, I bought ageofaquarius.org with BTC, actually. Felt like I had to do that. And at the time, I didn't really know what that was about, but it just kept coming up for me, and nobody was talking about it. And there was no official resource or self-appointed organization, that was like really teaching what this phenomenon is and how important it is. So over time, the last 5 years, I've really I've gone from like 0 to like 10, maybe 100, the highest you can go, just about reaching to the edges of the earth to be like, okay, this is really important. And now I kind of made sense of it and put out my first self-published book called The Last Stand: How to Thrive in the Age of Aquarius. I put that out on the winter solstice of 2022. And, I feel like I've made sense of it. And now it's really about what do we do about this? What actions do we take? And being that Aquarius is an air sign, it's an air age, it's a technological age, my focus is absolutely on Bitcoin being the technology to transition humanity into this air age of Aquarius.
All right, so super deep subject. So we got, now you've gone from your background being in New Jersey, now you're a full-time musician, and you got an understanding of Bitcoin. How does Bitcoin fit together with this?
I just really struggled as an original artist. 4 different bands that failed. One almost blew up. One was signed. It's just like everything kept falling apart. And then over time, like the censorship and just everything, it just got so much harder to actually break out as an artist. So in 2017, I was doing an Airbnb business here in Orlando, and I would have these guests come through from like around the world. And this one guy, Mark Patterson, he called himself Experience. He was like, dude, you got to check out this thing, Ethereum, man. I love Ethereum. And it's like, I just kept hearing about it. So I bought a couple of Ethereum and like a Litecoin or two. And then I watched BTC go to 20 grand, and I was like, whoa, there's something here. So from that point on, 2017, I was like, wow, well, if there's ever a way for me to break out as an artist and fulfill my life's purpose, I need resources. I don't need the club and connections. I just need resources to do it. And I saw that crypto was my way to achieve that. And over time, I actually started, caring about the technology and not just number go up. And I was like, oh my God, like this is exactly what I was waiting for, to absolutely break out as an artist. Like I have the tools now to take my life into my own hands, my art, my creations, to actually get it out to people that want to receive that. And man, there's just so much I could share, but I definitely.
How does Bitcoin fit into this picture you're talking about with this? How is it the tool? How is it the tool? What is it about it?
Well, my God, where do you start? So there's, for one, the data, but my music is data, it's something I own the rights to. And I need to have full control of how that's distributed in a way that I'm actually, the reciprocity is coming from the fan to the artist, and crypto solves that. I mean, Bitcoin solves that. It eliminates the middleman. And by effect, the transaction processes with BSV at least is instant, and it costs next to nothing, and no one can stop it. So that alone is like totally transformative for any artist and creator. And then of course it's like, the long-term view is like, I'd rather be trading my value for Satoshis, because I see where this is going. If I'm just out here doing it the old way, slinging CDs for dollars, it's getting debased by the day, already 25% at least debasement, and through inflation. So it's a more sound money. So it's something I want to exchange in. And it's just the next evolution of the internet. So there's a huge opportunity now for any artist that is not just focused on number go up, but what is this technology, and how is it going to serve me and my fellow man?
So back to the hackathon. You showed up there and you made a presentation there at the hackathon. And what can you what can you tell us about that event and kind of like what your experience?
Yeah. Well, I should maybe give a backstory on how I even ended up there, speaking on the first day of the event, closing it out. So, in this journey of number go up and then being like, okay, what is this technology? I discovered Jeff Berwick, the Dollar Vigilante, on YouTube randomly one day, just doing a walk and talk with Lucy, and I'm like, whoa, I like this guy. So then I subscribed to Dollar Vigilante. And then I was just a subscriber, a fan, like a paying customer, when they rolled out Crypto Vigilante, which is like their crypto focused newsletter, because everyone was like, we want to focus on crypto. So they delivered it. So I watched all this unfold. And then after the lockdowns, I'm like, I got to find my tribe. I can't keep doing this. And I resonated most with those guys. So I, threw down $1,000. I went out to the first Acapulco ever for me. That was in 2021. In Acapulco, Mexico, and I literally just hit it off with everyone, just like I thought I would. I mean, literally everyone that was there, all the speakers, everyone, we're all hanging out, having a few drinks, and having a freaking blast, and we became friends for life. And over time, Raphael, who obviously well and have interviewed, we just really vibed about music, about crypto, just everything, at BSV especially. And he was the one that truly, truly enlightened me to the reality of what's going on here with Bitcoin. He did it. And then, he started taking me out to conferences, and I'd help out with interviews and just whatever he needed help with. Eventually, he just offered me a job with TCV. And that's something I don't share too often because their OPSEC, and their privacy, it's so tight. So, I don't want to, out myself in a way. But at this point, it's something I'm really proud of. And for, the last year, I mean, I've since moved on. But, up until the hackathon, I was, deep with these guys, learning so much, doing interviews, pumping them out to the subscribers. I just learned so much about crypto and Bitcoin. And in the process, before I even got that job, Raphael was he hit up Alex Vidal, Alex.Sats. He hit up Leandro Dixon, L. Dixon, a couple guys that were on the team, and then me randomly who wasn't yet. And he's like, hey, there's this Cambrian SV event that Jack Liu is hosting. It's in Samara, Costa Rica. He's like, we got to go. And then it was last minute, and we all just went. It was the trip of a lifetime. And long story short, here we were in this hot office space on the beach with 20 of what I see as the best, some of the most prominent Bitcoin developers in the world. And that was when the crown just blew off. I'm like, oh my God, dude. It's for a week straight, we just we actually all basically predicted what happened the next year with Ordi. And one Sats, and that's when I met Shawway. He comes in off the plane from San Francisco, and just this kind, humble, gentle soul. And he just drops the biggest bomb to me, which was like, hey, I figured out how to do ZK rollups on like BSV, which means you can actually have like some really good privacy, tokenization and features on Bitcoin, which is a transparent blockchain. And to me, coming from TCV and Pirate Chain and Dero, Monero, that awesome technology, I'm like, whoa, this is like there's nothing that Bitcoin can't do. And so it was that week where, the crown blew off, and I'm like, it was just so awakening to me. It was so enlightening, the opportunity, just being at like the forefront of it. And just, that's when kind of I got the download and the vision. So like the whole week while I'm listening to everyone and soaking it in, I'm like, literally the vision of what I'm supposed to create is coming to me. And I'm talking like the band, BluvnBü, Age of Aquarius.org.
What was the vision? Can you describe not just the names, but was there an image or a video or, a picture that you saw of something? What was it that you saw?
Oh man. I just saw, every year of my life accumulating to that moment in time. I was like, whoa, like all these life experiences I've had, the skill sets, the knowledge, the connections, everything brought me to here. And I'm supposed to like somehow demonstrate what this technology is supposed to do. So I don't want to give too many details into like the plan, because like, honestly, I don't know who I can trust, because the terminology, the degen terms is like, I got this recipe, let's cook it, right? We're cooking, all right. Well, that's cute, but like I really legitimately have a recipe that could catalyze hyper Bitcoinization. I mean, it's all of my art and everything, the book, the platforms, like it all needs to be onboarded to Web3 Bitcoin. So I'm like steadily feeling out like who are the developers I can trust, who like really sees the vision, who's willing to sacrifice like, even just a fraction as much as I have to get to this point, to like be a part of this ship, and, sail off into the Bitcoin sunset. So that all came to me that week, to the point where like, Jack Lou was about to close out the event. We had our last speaker of the week, and I was like, hey, like, Xiaowei said I could speak, if there was time, there was time. And I went up and I closed out that event, just sharing the vision and everything. So everyone that was in that room has still a very good idea of what it is I'm cooking up here. But I don't know.
What can you share?
Well, for one thing, anything in business and marketing, which obviously well, is like, how do you onboard people to something? How do you onboard people to Bitcoin, right? It's got to be something interesting, engaging, could go viral, etc. So I went out on a limb and I purchased a domain name woke.game. Like the woke. Right. So are you woke or are you awake? Are you awakening? So that's kind of the start of my funnel, so to speak. Right. So I want to have some kind of game, and I've got this all mapped out. I'm being vague on purpose, but it's an IQ test to see like where somebody's at in terms of like the Piscean to Aquarian age, right? Like, are you ascending in that level? And similarly, because Piscean is very old systems like BTC, where are you at in BTC to BSV, right? So if you can kind of meet in the middle, play the game, if you win the game, that is the on-ramp into the new Bitcoin economy, which is, I mean, there's a lot of key pieces that need to be like really streamlined. Like the biggest thing is interoperable wallet, and then a DEX that has a native BSV pair. Those are like really important tools that like it remains to be seen. Everyone's sitting here asking themselves, is BSV the real Bitcoin? Nah, that's a scam. I'm sitting here like, I already know it's the real Bitcoin. Like, this is what has to be built. And I'm just like God, I'm asking God, like, when is the time for me to go all in on that? Because it can be time intensive and resource intensive. And I'm also, trying to go with the timeline of the elite and the world stage, everything that's playing out. Just like Jack Lou says, being too early, it's the same as being wrong. So I don't want to be too early on something, but at the same time, I'm past the point of like needing conviction that I'm on the right path. So if there's anything I can impart to your fans and the audience here is like that message, to dive into that. We can go over some numerology, astrology, gematria, all the tools and things that I've used to decode this conviction in myself, that may further help someone kind of get off the fence and like really start just moving in the right direction, or just trust that they are already doing that.
Okay, so to help build the conviction for that this is the right direction. So what were some of the tools that you used to help you develop that conviction?
Well, as you know, because Crypto Rick has been on the show a few
Crypto Rick,
times.
right? Yeah, we had him on, who
Yeah.
was the guy from Australia, and he's so yeah.
Hmm.
Won't you? What did you think of
Yeah.
Crypto Rick?
Oh, man, he kind of really opened the door for me. This was after Cambrian SB and Raphael and TCV, and I was already on the BSV track. Like in my guidebook, I literally like said BSV is the real Bitcoin. That was 2022, you know. But it wasn't until I'm like, all right, this is getting serious. Like there's a lot on the line. Let me like really start looking into this stuff. There was this trial coming up that was earlier this year. So then I just started looking on YouTube, and that's when I discovered Rick decoding the Economist magazine from 1988. And it was the first time I ever saw anyone decode that magazine. And it wasn't about like XRP, and or like some other weird idea. It was about BSV, and everything aligned just enough that I watched all his videos, and then from there, like when the trial started, Gavin, like honestly, you were like my rock, man. You were just like steady with the updates, delivering like unbiased, like very factual information as best that you could, because it's still, the whole thing is still like, what's really going on at the end of the day? We're just like, what? Come on, man. Can we just be honest and clear? No, we can't. We can't. But you did a great job, and you kept the positivity going. And so the whole time I'm like, East Coast time, I'm like waking up at 5 a.m. to watch this trial. I had to reach out to Susan Woolley of the UK High Court to get a live stream link. That's how like on the low this whole trial was. And so it was between that, you, and then myself just going all in. And I wrote like 100-page document of like all this research. And I started from the Economist magazine and found that I had to keep going, like actually back. I had to keep going back in time to the founding of the United States of America to realize what is Bitcoin, who created it, and why did they create it? Where's this thing going?
The founding of the United States of America? How does that relate?
Dude, it's the same day that the Constitution, or no, it was the Articles of Confederation, was here. Let me just pull that up to give you the hard, hard facts.
But before you go into the Articles of Confederation, because that is
okay.
That is a sacred document for people who don't know. I mean, I keep the original articles with me. Now it is the actual. This is the document that created the United States of America. So you got the Constitution, you got the Declaration of Independence, but Article 1, the style of this confederacy shall be, quote, the United States of America. So this is the founding governing document. So go ahead.
Well, man, I mean, if that's not a truth bomb, I don't know what is, because literally the same day that BSV was created, the same day that the Articles of Confederation was drafted, right? Between the 13 colonies that were ratified, right? And that number 13, it's very symbolic, right? There's 13 levels in the pyramid on the dollar, 13 levels. So what is number 13? I think it's the B, because the 13 literally looks like a B. It's Bitcoin, and we can get all biblical and stuff, but like it is the Bitcoin B system. I mean, Rick's not wrong about that. That's what it is. So the sooner we can like kind of just, take these dogmatic ideologies and just put them here for a second, and then look at the hard facts and the science, right? Like trust the science. You can be like, oh, well, that's what a beast system is. Okay, well, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. And you just keep digging. You're like, okay, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. So
what makes it a good thing?
Okay. Well, maybe I should just screen share it and, just show everyone like the thought process here. I'm going to keep it real simple.
Please go ahead. So November 15th, 1777.
Yeah. So this is an example of what my document looks like. I haven't shared this with anyone in the world except a few like high net worth investors. So yeah, anyway, you can see it's the same month and day BSV was created. 13 colonies symbolize the Bitcoin. But not to mention the 3 7s in a row, like you were talking about your name, 888, like the 3 7s in a row, that's jackpot and good luck. So I'm like, huh. But the fact that there's one and then 777, to me, it's esoteric way of looking at it. There can only be one. Okay, there's one chain to rule them all, one blockchain. But anyway, so let's start with the rabbit hole, right? So this here is a gematria calculator called gematriator.com. If anybody wants to start playing with this, it's totally free. I do the paid version so that I can have more access to more information. So start with the free one and upgrade as you continue to go down the rabbit hole. Okay, but basically, this is the practice of coding words into numbers. Okay, so you can put any word or phrase in here, and it's going to give you a set of codes that relate to different times in history and different cultures, different religions, all kinds of stuff. So it's very esoteric, a lot of astrotheology going on here. But the biggest thing for me that truly stood out was, when I put Bitcoin in here, was that 36 in reduction. Okay, because as the Phoenix Economist magazine was, you've got Chaldean also has 36. So you've got a connection there for Bitcoin and the Phoenix rising from the ashes. But what really hit me, this was such an awakening thing, man. When I was doing this document, watching your updates and the trial, I'm like, whoa, this is happening. So if you click 36, it gives you more information. And you'll find that the 36 triangular number is 666. Okay, so let's take it back to the Economist magazine, right? Let's decode this a little bit.
This is put out in 1988 by, which we do know that it was by, it looks like Gavin on the right. Yeah, who was it put out by and who's the Economist? And you're probably going to go into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but more importantly, the number 36, why is that important? Why does that relate to the Bitcoin B system? So this came out January 9th, 1988, exactly 36 years later is when the SEC and Gary Gensler accidentally leaked the spot Bitcoin ETF approvals. And then they withdrew that. Then the next day it was approved. So that's how important the timing of the numbers is. They just had to do that leak because there's still no explanation for why that happened. They just had to make sure it hit that exact 36-year anniversary, and then bam, the next day it's on. But what's important is that, again, 36. There's a date on this coin here for the Phoenix, right here, 10/10/2018. So exactly 36 days later is, again, Articles of Confederation, the anniversary, November 15th. It's the day BSV was created. And then you've got the Phoenix, and obviously that is 36 in Chaldean, and Bitcoin is 36 in reduction. So there's a lot of confluence among this factual information here. And obviously Phoenix is 91 in English ordinal, and this took place, the actual write-up was on pages 9 through 10. So 910 equals 91. Why did the Economist have to make it, so obvious, this number 36 over time? That goes back to probably the next slide. Okay. So I said that 666 is the 36 triangular number, right? So what is 666? It's basically the scientific code for carbon-based life forms, aka human beings, us. It's big. Like Bitcoin is it literally is the railroad tracks of the B system, what I would call the New World Order for the Age of Aquarius, which is absolutely a technocratic power structure. So right now in this transition between the Age of Pisces, the Age of Aquarius, we're really, everything's getting shaken up. Whoever's on top now might not be tomorrow. It doesn't matter who you are or what your blood type is or who it's connected to. This is all about consciousness of knowing thyself and how clear you are on who you are and what you're here to do, and actually having the courage to do it. That takes a high degree of self-awareness.
Well, why don't we take a moment here and go, we could circle back around to that, but I saw that you were tweeting about Archaix. Who is Archaix and Jason Brashers?
Was I tweeting about him? Maybe.
Well, I saw you made a comment about him. You said something to him on Twitter, so you must know who he is.
Well, I don't know Jason personally. I know he's done so much work. The guy, he spent a lot of time in prison, and he took, used that time to study and research so much of world history, human history. And he's got a lot of ideas that are honestly very original, even to the point where he would say that we're not in the Age of Aquarius. So once he said that, I was kind of oh man, I can't keep watching this stuff because I just have too much information saying that we are. So I just need to stay on that train, But, I support his work. I'm a fan. And I think that over time he's going to continue to grow and realize how hard it is to speak the truth and why it's honestly not even worth it. Kind of the conclusion that I've come to. The truth is reserved for those who seek it. And the more you try to vomit it all over everyone and to feel good about yourself at the end of the day, like, oh, I know this stuff, the more it kind of fires back at you and you're like, this was a total waste of time. I should have just bought BSV. I'm serious, man. Like, I'm just getting beaten down trying to share this stuff. And I'm like, fuck it. You know?
So cool. So you're familiar. So yeah, people who haven't, just a little. I mean, Jason Brashers, Archaix, definitely someone to that everyone should at least be informed about. Generally, not be consumed, but it's good. I'd like that you're informed. That's the key. That's some of the most cutting edge and original information I've ever seen. So,
oh God, yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right, so back to the. Back to this. We went to the hackathon. You kind of went through some of this information about where things are lining up. Now, where are we going, Matt? Where do you see all this, going, and what's your role? What's your role in this?
Yeah, I was hoping you would ask that question because I made a lot of bold claims at the hackathon. Like I said, I have full conviction that BSV is the real Bitcoin, and if it's not, they're going to fork that chain, and that will be the real Bitcoin. So stack Sats, BSV Sats, because if they fork it, you're going to get double your money. Potentially. So, I just want to communicate that everything I shared, if you were there, if you watched the CoinGeek live stream, it's still up there from my talk. If you haven't, check it out. Everything there. I am even more convicted and convinced that Craig Wright is the face of Bitcoin. He is Satoshi Nakamoto, the head of the team. And that BSV is let's just say Bitcoin in its original design, whatever fork or ticker it becomes or remains, that is the future of the Age of Aquarius. I mean, potentially the next 2,000 years we're looking at. Timeline wise, before we end this call, let me pull up my BSV chart. It's so important I show you the chart to see where we're at in terms of timeline. But I would say that now that Craig has filed the appeal as I expected, he has 6 to 8 months. So to me, that's how much time we have. And looking at where BTC is at and just the macro, all the markets, all the indices, the DXY, you name it. Like, we probably got, at least 6 months left of a bull market, but 8 months pushing it, man. So I'm pretty sure like the everything bubble is going to pop with Craig Wright just moving some coins or just finally doing what he needs to do. But it's really just a matter of waiting until all of the dominoes are in place before they start falling.
All right. So what is now a bad time to go and look at that chart that you have?
No, it's a good time.
Okay. Yeah. Let's
always
look at it.
always a good time to look at the charts.
When I was in London, people were talking about how someone was selling off 2,000 and I guess the Mt. Gox coins. They were selling off massive amounts of BTC. So, and then more and more BTC have been moving from the early Satoshi wallets, it sounds like. So someone's doing that.
Yeah, someone's doing that. And I saw rolling icebergs right before Coinbase went down. It was 30 minutes before Coinbase went down, like last week or 2 weeks ago. And I saw it like on a 5-minute chart. Someone was mass selling BTC for US dollars on a US exchange, Coinbase, which Craig Wright said he would do. So if it wasn't Craig Wright or the Tulip Trust, it was someone that's like in alignment with that, maybe Calvin or I don't know, anybody. So yeah, it's happening. Like what this chart looks like to me is like one of the most bullish charts I've ever seen in my life. And a lot of people would disagree. Actually, they probably haven't even looked at the chart. That's how much cognitive dissonance there is around this. That's how much believing the propaganda it can do, how much damage it can do. Like this is a weekly chart. And you can see that when BSV came out in 2018, there was a lot of interest and speculation like, oh my God, is this going to make it? Is this the real Bitcoin? What do I do? What do I do? Right. And eventually, it topped out here, around like $450. And ever since then, right, ever since the top was in here, the week of April 2021, we have had nothing but a consistent bloody downtrend all the way to bottom at $18. Can you believe it? The price of Bitcoin in 2023, Saturday, June 10th, Saturn Day, during the Peace Love Revolution in Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, BSV silently bottomed at $18 and it just got absolutely bought up. And we haven't seen a price as low as that since. So what you have here is, I try to be cognizant when I say weak hands. That's like a trading term, but like really, this is awful what people in BSV had to go through. I mean, I don't know if you rode this down. I mean, I know a lot of people now that freaking rode this thing down, man. And it breaks my heart because I don't think anyone could have predicted that. But this here is basically the powers that be absolutely destroying the reputation of Craig Wright and Bitcoin and blinding people to what Bitcoin actually is for like, I don't know, 3 years until they could just absolutely, this is all accumulation for the people that know what's up. And then they just bought the shit out of it here on the bottom. So this is a rounding bottom long term on a weekly chart. And now if I pull up some indicators, you can kind of, God, there's way too much on this chart. But you can see that we had this nice parallel channel coming from the bottom that we've broken out of. Yet we are holding support on this blue trend line right here. We're holding that support, right? Which right now puts you at around $50 for Bitcoin. So if that breaks, this is a life-changing opportunity to score Bitcoin anywhere from 27 to $50, I would say. Anywhere on these trend lines for a double bottom retest, I don't see it happening, honestly. Now, I was really hoping for it, to be honest, because Cambrian SV was, dude, BSV was like $100 then, $50. And I was just telling everyone I knew, investors, just family, friends, everyone, like, let's buy BSV. And then nobody cared. And then it bottomed at $18. They missed like the greatest opportunity in the history of mankind, So this is still great. My upside target for the real Bitcoin is $13 million, whatever that is, like, 10 years from now, whatever $1 million is. But right now it's just like, oh my God, if you can accumulate at this price down to like, I mean, $20 would be like, no brainer, like back up the truck. That is like your double bottom. People are looking for $5. Don't look for a $5 BSV. I'm telling you now, that's a big mistake. Because if you're looking for $5 and you don't buy at 20, that's the worst decision. Like, just back up the truck. So that's kind of my take. But you can see the chart here looks very healthy. I mean, it's just incredibly oversold on the RSI. This thing's ready to explode. The MACD is looking bullish. It's following this trend. It's going up. I mean, it's just like a lot of the altcoins in the space, they're primed for a rip. And they've been completely most of them have not really popped since the 2017 boom. Maybe the COVID manipulated boom there was some good gains in altcoins, but a lot of them, like Monero, just totally underperformed. Okay, so there's a lot of pent up, like, yo, I gotta pump these altcoins so I can exit. I think that's still coming.
Craig WS Wright on there. I see that.
Oh yeah.
You got. What are some of these indicators?
So one thing I was watching intently, right, was the Great American Eclipse right here, which was, took place. Well, the finale was April 8th, and that was exactly the day the downtrend started. And everything. Look at BSV. BTC, it was exactly the day that, well, BSV was a little sooner because the trial was preceding that, right? But surely a lot of the fear, the selling that would come from that. I think that's why Mehl, had that verbal thing on the 36-year anniversary of Pi Day, which started in San Francisco. So that's why he made that declaration a day early before the trial was supposed to end. It had to be on the 36-year anniversary of Pi Day because he's in on all this too, and that started the downtrend for BSV. But BTC came to a head April 8th, and we've been down ever since. Could not get above that price. So this is all potentially accumulation for a mid-bull market cycle correction. I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, I'm looking at BTC and a potential triple top scenario. I mean, it's a little concerning, actually.
Okay, so now you're showing the BTC chart to US dollars.
Yeah, let's go on the weekly time frame and really get a picture of what's going on here. So incredibly bullish overall. I mean, this has just been an incredible performance, but what we're faced with right here is potential triple top. This top here, when Coinbase went public, the double top, and then here we are trying to find support on top of that. And so far, it looks really good. I mean, this all looks really good. Even if we came down to the low 50Ks, that's pretty good.
What do you see happening for BTC?
I think that 79K is very likely, at least, based on Steve from Crypto Crew University's 5.3 theory. Just mind-blowing. If you take the percentage gains from bottom to top and divide it by 5.3, you get the exact percentage gains of the next bull market cycle. Almost exactly. It hasn't missed yet, like 3 times in a row. So That's a good track record, good amount of confirmations. History it doesn't have to repeat itself, but it could. And if it does, we're looking at a 79K top for BTC. Yeah, somewhere around that range. However, if I put on like this stuff here, you can see that this is a potential bull flag / falling wedge pattern with a breakout target of about $130,000. I honestly don't see us going higher than 130,000. But because Craig Wright said
BTC is not going to go to $100,000. Full stop.
It's not going to go to $100,000.
No.
BTC will never see 100K. I don't know. I kind of like Bitfreedom's idea that maybe 91,000 is the best you see, and 91 is again in English ordinal is the Phoenix. I'd like to see I think the healthiest thing would be like a correction down to 49K at the lowest, and then for this to steadily build. And then eventually just break out of this resistance here, this triple top type resistance, and then head up to 91K. And for that to be the top, that'd be great because, I see this opportunity as like this is the end of the Wild West of crypto. It's over. There's not going to be another highly speculative, unregulated bubble where people turn $100 into like $1 million. This isn't happening, but there's a chance to turn $100 into 10,000 or, 10,000 if that projection comes out, right? If BTC goes to 91K and the altcoins finally get their not necessarily deserved run, and I see this happening, like I said, in this 6 to 8 month window. Maybe this goes a little bit into 2025, like maybe Q2, at best Q4. I'm looking at Greater Depression 2026 and a housing market crash by then. But no doubt I believe that BTC was created to pop the everything bubble. Okay, so just to put the context of that, we're talking about 2,160 years of the age of Pisces, right? This water age of pain and suffering, this dark iron age. So much karmic debt is just built up. It's awful what's happening. These crimes against humanity. It can't exist in the Aquarian age. It's an ascension process. So all of that has yet to be resolved, right? There's a lot of people that should be in jail and a lot of people that should not be in jail right now. So until all this gets resolved, there is no, kumbaya Age of Aquarius. Okay, it's the same central banking games, the same games of the state, the same games of the elite. It's all of it. Okay, so BTC is going to be the thing that just takes everything down. Okay, and like they say, when the tide goes out, you see you swimming naked, and all these evil people that are just doing their evil things because that's what they're supposed to do, they're done.
How does BTC take things down? How does that work?
Oh, well, time will tell, but the writing's on the wall. Better than anyone else. It's like black and white. If you put BTC next to BSV, it's just like, duh. There's so much corruption in BTC. It's literally like they take the best of central banking practice, and they did that to BTC. It's not even. I don't even see it as really a technology. It's just like this kind of fake funny money. It's pumped by Tether and all kinds of liquidity rituals and things like that. FTX, whatever. BSV is actually the weekends. Yeah, it's all shaken out. The BSV is what that's worth is actually it's so undervalued. It's not even funny, but that's the opportunity. But actually what it's worth, $60 BSV right now, that's real human capital, real equity, real stake, real intellectual equity, real productivity, real shout out to Babbage, shout out to S-Script, N-Chain with almost 4,000 approved patents. That's real value that I don't think can be shaken out much further. But BTC has a lot of funny value in it. A lot of people that don't know what Bitcoin is, who created it and why, what it's for, they don't understand it. They don't even care to. They just look at number go up and it feels good. It feels great. Sure. But this is all biblical what's happening.
How is this biblical?
Oh my God. Okay. So I want to give another shout out to Micah Dank Truth Bombs. he's someone that if you don't know him now, you have a chance to it's like buying Bitcoin under $1, because by the end of the year, this guy is going to be everywhere, just like Archaix, everywhere. So he's a dear friend of mine, and he is an apprentice of Santos Bonacci. So he's an astro.
No, please, no,
Yeah.
you mentioned someone very important. So please tell people who Santos Bonacci is. I mean, you're the best. I'm really glad you brought that up, because I tried to explain to people, other friends, and I don't give him justice. So please tell people who is Santos Bonacci.
Well, he's definitely an angel incarnate, and he's struggled a lot. But Santos is the world's greatest living astrotheologist, bar none. I had the opportunity, my wife and I, to sit across from him for 20 minutes in Mexico, to give him a hug, to just see this guy, to feel his energy, to share in his intellectual, the work that he's done. And I mean, I was like, Santos, can you prove to me that we're in the Age of Aquarius? He's like, absolutely. And then he just went on, how to do it. I'm like, in one ear, out the other. Wish I recorded that. But nah, he's, we're connected. But Micah Dank has worked for Santos, still a great student of Santos. And I would say he's the next, he's the apprentice, he's the next Santos Bonacci is Micah Dank. So anyway, the key distinction is when you really break down the Bible, King James Bible, all of it, it's all spiritual. It's all esoteric. There's really not a whole lot in there that's evil, to be honest. I mean, even talking about Satan, the devil, and 666, all these things are just very deep esoteric wisdom about reality and human nature and history, where we came from, where we're going. And at the end of the day, as Santos has pointed out, the Bible is, I don't know, man, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it's true, man. It's a playbook for the New World Order. It's you can look at it as prophecy, but it's it's just a script, it's just all right, well, here's what we're going to do. And they're telling you, just not directly. And Santos has mastered direct knowledge. He's so direct. And I love him for that, So anyway, I'm not going to preach Bible verses or make too many comparisons. I just think you should check out Micah Dank, follow Santos where you can, and just be open to, the reality that with each age comes a new religion. And in the Age of Aquarius, the new religion is, well, it's science. It's as some might say, sun worship, just like in Egypt. All that symbolism. But it's like the Aquarius sign. It's a man holding a bucket of water and the water's flowing out. It's about mankind. Okay, so the next 2,000 years is about a tug of war between transhumanism. It's having that discernment of being open to new technologies and how do they serve humanity, right? Not the latter, the inorganic, the other, what's not human. That's going to be the greatest test of our of this age. It doesn't have to be like a religion, but it's like a religion. It's you're returning to source. You're returning to truth, and there's no better way to do that than real science.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt. This is awesome. That's really deep subject here, going into Santos and Archaix. And what was the other gentleman's name besides Santos?
Micah Dank Truth Bombs on YouTube. Check it out.
Bombs. Okay. Nice. All right. Well, let's begin to wrap up. And so what else,
okay.
Where can people find you, and what other last words do you want to leave everyone with, before we wrap up? Yeah.
Well, you can find me everywhere at BluvnBü. That's the band name, 7-letter acronym, BLUVNBU. When I say everywhere, I mean all the, social media platforms or socialist media platforms, as I like to call it. And then the independent ones. So yeah, you can reach out. I'm definitely active on Telegram the most. So that's my handle there too. Check out my website, the band name, BluvnBü.com. And I've got my whole 14-song discography with my new single, 33, that came out on my 33rd birthday. That happened to be 3 minutes and 30 seconds long, recorded in 432 hertz. And when that came out, it was Friday the 13th. And a couple weeks prior, I predicted the price of BSV to be $33. And when I woke up that day, it was $33.33. the day my music video premiered.
Were you in the same town as Chris Carrabba from Dashboard Confessional? Or what was the...
I think he's out in Nashville. Yeah, the lead singer of Dashboard Confessional. But his drummer, Chris Camerata, yeah, we talked about this in San Francisco. Like, yeah, this guy is like my favorite drummer of all time, lives 10 minutes down the road from me. So, like, I hit him up, you know, because we'd done stuff in the past, projects, whatever. And you know, I said, hey, would you drum in this music video for me? And he did. So, yeah, he's the drummer for Dashboard Confessional, touring the world. And, you know, and then the artwork for 33, my mom did that, Carolyn. She does all my artwork for my music. You know, I really, I put out a pretty costly signal. So I guess to wrap up, like, with the general message, you know, is to, like, send you down the rabbit hole. This is kind of what I want to do. You start with that song and look at the artwork, and you'll find that the artwork for 33 is the AOA, Age of Aquarius, with Bitcoin in the circle, and it's the straight Bitcoin, not the crooked forks, and it's the sun emanating from Bitcoin because it's solar punk technology. And then you'll find that, you know, we had mermaids in the music video, so there's a mermaid tail, which is the color of the chakras. The mermaid symbolizes, it's a symbol of where we're at. It's the merging of Pisces, the fish, and Aquarius, the man. It's the mermaid, merman. I said, Mom, take this photo of Astana, Kazakhstan, and run with it. And, you know, do these little subtle details. You know, we've got the right-hand path, you know, which is 33, the highest degree in Freemasonry. That's masculine. So you can see that, you know, holding the 33. And then the left-hand path is the divine feminine, which is like the moon, you know, because the moon controls the tides, menstrual cycle, the whole thing, right? So that's why
this is going to be the music video, right?
And turn. Well, this is the artwork for that music video. It's all connected.
All right.
Yeah, so like it's a costly signal. Like there's no coincidence. I'm not like manifesting things just because it's fun, you know. There's some serious problems in the world, and I'm in a position to do something about it at the age of 33. So it's a costly signal that I sent to basically the people that run the world, which, you know, yin and yang, right?
Is that on YouTube, that video?
Yeah, you can throw it in this interview if you want.
Sure. What I'll do is after this, if you send it to me, I'll link it here at the end of the video, and people can click it and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's the point is that like I don't know, like that song and artwork was just like I see you, like I decoded it, like nice. We figured it out, like some of us like you and I, we figured this out, you know, and we're not afraid, like we're courageous, and we're going to move forward in alignment with following our hearts.
Yeah, let's wrap there. Watch check out the music video with Matt. I'll go ahead and put it at the end of the video here. You could just click on it and see the artwork and the sound that he puts out. And let's do it again sometime, Matt. It was awesome just to catch up with you, man. Let's do it again. There's gonna be another hackathon and this time I'm gonna be announcing it. It's gonna be in Miami in December. You're in area, so yeah,
I'll be there. I'll be there, man. Oh, it's great news. All right.
Yeah. So, all right, my man. Yeah. Catch you soon, and I'll see everyone at the top.
I was thinking, I was saying, I was wishing, I was praying, I was hoping, I was searching for something to believe in. This is how I am until my story ends. Like it or leave it, no need to pretend. I can't get this out of my head. These problems must be put to rest. I'm here for the solutions. Until then, why can't I be angry? When you've seen the things that I've seen, it's all